Hello and welcome to another episode of the Infobotts Podcast. This is episode number 59, and I am your host, author Frederick Fishman, and today and every day we are sponsored by me. So for links to all of my books, apparel, and gear, go to my main Infobotts website at infobotts.com, spelled with 2 T's at the end, infobotts.com. You can also help us out and show your support by going to our Patreon page at Patreon, that's spelled patreon.com/Infobotts Podcast. Okay, let's get started. In this year, 2020, the autumnal equinox, also called the September equinox or fall equinox, arrives this coming Tuesday, just a few days from now, on September the 22nd at 9:31 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's here in the United States. That, of course, is in the Northern Hemisphere, where fall officially arrives and winter is just around the corner. And it won't come a moment too soon. Here in southern Arizona, we are still getting days of around 100 degrees Fahrenheit and nights in the lower 70s. This is supposed to be our monsoon season, where southern rainstorms push up from Mexico, and normal precipitation is supposed to be about 6 inches of rain for August and September. This year we got 1.5 inches. That is the second lowest ever. The fires are still raging, 27 of them in the western U.S., in California, Oregon, and Washington, in the worst outbreak of fires, again, in near history. And on top of all of that, yesterday, Los Angeles got a 4.5 magnitude earthquake. All of that with the pandemic raging. It's all just too much, isn't it? But the first day of fall is here, so how about a short description as to what exactly the equinox is all about? Okay, here goes. The equinox, 2 moments in the year when the sun is exactly above the equator and day and night are of equal length. Also, either of the 2 points in the sky where the ecliptic, that's the sun's annual pathway, and the celestial equator intersect. In the Northern Hemisphere, the autumnal equinox falls about September the 22nd or the 23rd, as the sun crosses the celestial equator going south. In the Southern Hemisphere, the equinox occurs March the 20th or 21st, when the sun moves north across the celestial equator. According to the astronomical definition of the seasons, the autumnal equinox also marks the beginning of autumn, which lasts until the winter solstice of December the 21st or 22nd in the Northern Hemisphere, or June the 20th or 21st in the Southern Hemisphere. The solstice in the Northern Hemisphere being the shortest day of the year and the official start of winter. With all that said, tell me honestly if you're not fed up with the year 2020. 2021 cannot get here soon enough. So now you know, and thank you for listening to another episode of the Infobotts Podcast. Please support our efforts here to bring you a new Infobotts. Go to patreon.com/Infobotts Podcast. So join us again for another episode of the Infobotts Podcast. Bye-bye.